Up next, we got NXT Battleground, and there's just a few matches I want to highlight. First one being is Wes Lee versus Tyler Bate versus Joe Gacy for the North American Championship. Wes Lee defeated these two men, stamping why he's the greatest North American champion of all time, which I mentioned earlier in the show. He really puts on a better performance than Gunther and Austin Theory. He definitely is a wrestler that NXT slash management can be very proud of, and he can also be a pillar of that company. You know what I mean? So I can, with that being said, I can see him winning the NXT World Belt and then finally coming to the main roster and getting built up correctly with the right build up. I can see him winning the big one, the World Heavyweight Championship. You know what I mean?
Overcomer.
Yeah, because that's just the way he's cut, bro. That's just the way he's built. He's overcame so much, bro. So it's just obvious, like his ceiling is very high. You know what I mean?
Definitely. I see that a lot of progression in wrestling. He has good storytelling, as well as he has that believability in the ring.
Yeah.
It makes you want to get behind him.
And he can talk on the microphone. Exactly. That's also something that we like to highlight.
Especially, get me invested for this match. Yep. It's one thing that Cameron also highlighted on his podcast. A lot of people don't have the talent. They have the talent and the attribute, but they can't sell a fight. And that's what I feel is missing for wrestling right now. A lot of these guys can fly around the ring, but they can't sell this shit and get me hyped like how MJF gets me hyped for all his matches.
Right. That's why Wesley has been the longest reigning North American champion, because not only can he talk a good game, but he can also back it up.
It's not getting stale.
You know what I mean? It's not at all. And everybody gets even more hyped seeing him win. Next match, we got Valkyrie versus Tiffany Stratton. I'm so hyped for Tiffany Stratton. Nobody else in that locker room deserves this as much as her at this time. It's just very fitting for her character. I know she doesn't look highly of herself as someone to be ready for the main roster type of vibes, but what she's shown in NXT so far shows that she's ready for prime time. And I like to compare her kind of to Charlotte Flair, because I see her being like Charlotte Flair in a lot of ways, just a little bit more athletic, and she seems to have a deeper bag than Charlotte Flair. Like, yeah, this is a great move by NXT, and she's going to be a great champion.
Honestly, I'm not too familiar with her, but what I've seen from her, she has a lot of potential, and has the ability to have this championship at this time in her career lets me know that WWE does see her as somebody that the future is going to be based off of. And that doesn't necessarily mean she's going to be going to the main roster anytime soon just because she has this belt. Yeah. Because Indy, I believe, was the last person to have this belt.
Yeah.
And she didn't really have a reign with it. So I see this person being like the new regime of NXT.
Yeah. Because she got injured.
Exactly. It got injured. And hold it down between her and Roxanne Perez. Because Roxanne Perez hasn't been drafted up yet.
Yeah.
So I see them building, the molding, the new NXT culture between those two.
I see Roxanne Perez going to be the second two-time women's champion.
Yeah.
Well, I should say the third women's champion, because the first one was Charlotte, and then the second one was Shayna.
Yeah. Damn, so this lineage of the NXT Women's Championship low-key prestigious as fuck, too.
Yes, bro. And it started off the right way with Paige. Up next, we got to talk about my dog, Melo. You already know he don't miss, and that's exactly what happened to Bron Breakker. He didn't miss his shot. Bron came out looking like he was ready to do something for real, bro. And honestly, I like that attire, bro. That attire was nice, bro. Bron Breakker is bringing back the cool tights again, like on some RVD shit. You know, like how RVD always had the cool wrestling attire? Yeah. Bro, Bron Breakker right behind him with that wolf attire. That shit was tough. And then with the entrance and the mask, I was like, oh shit, Melo, you about to deal with a demon tonight. You know what I mean? But
he's serious. He's focused.
Yo, they put on a great match,
That's
bro.
cemented the victory even more for me.
Yeah.
Because you have to go through that type of Bron Breakker.
Right. Bro, they put on a really great match. You know what I mean? And Melo kicked out of this insane spear by Bron Breakker. I ain't seen him ever spear nobody like this before, bro. But he cut him square in half.
He has one of the nicest spears in the game.
Yeah, no cap. And then, you know, Melo was able to overcome that and then get the win in the match, yo. And I'm just really proud of Melo. And like we said, like with this win, it like really proves that this is Melo's time and he deserves every second of it. And if you ask Bron Breakker, he would agree.
He gotta agree because he had that bitch for a minute, so he know that he gotta give it up and cement Melo because Melo was ascending the ranks, having high quality matches. People talking about him like he been had the Air Championship.
Yeah.
So it's now it's time to step aside, and especially how we seeing him branch off, try these different attire and shit like that. Main roster time, Bron.
Yeah, because we need that on the main roster.
There ain't no
oh
Flair.
my God,
There's
him versus Seth.
There's no.
You come out like that versus Seth Rollins.
What makes Seth Rollins have to get stronger? Have to do different shit.
Ooh wee, boy. Hey man.
So I just I don't know. That'd be tough, man. But overall, that was a great way for them to end their pay per view because it's a great storytelling. And those two people who are carrying that NXT main roster division, that main title division. So hopefully Melo continues to carry on this run. I want him at minimum 6 months because his reign low key longer produced. The minimum he can get is 6 months. He can't get 3.
Yeah, no.
He got to cement his own type of flair and legacy.
Yeah, bro. And he's got to go against even more legible competition. Like Bron Breakker was great, but the next one got to be just as good.
Yeah, literally. After finishing off that great pay per view that NXT had to provide, we also went into another phenomenal pay per view which I attended live, and to catch its atmosphere, which I'm talking about, AEW Double or Nothing live in Las Vegas, Nevada. That was one of the craziest twisting pay-per-views I've seen towards the end too.
Okay. Brief question: How did it feel watching Jeff Hardy botch that move live, bro?
Bro, that shit was scary, bro.
It was scary watching through my phone.
Okay, so literally, I'm sitting there, and I shit you not, 10 seconds before he does go for this whisper in the wind, I'm like, Jeff's a little too sober.
Yeah.
I'm like, he doesn't have it.
It's not looking right.
He might need to go up to he don't need to go to the ropes. I say that. I'm like, oh, spoke too soon. And then he goes to the ropes and slips, lands right on his neck on the back. I was like,
bro, if you guys have been watching Jeff Hardy as long as we have, before he did that, he did not look sturdy at all. He did not look like he was set.
I was watching that live and I was sitting there. I was like, oh
my God.
Everybody in the arena was still like, is he okay? And the guy behind me, he was like, come on, Jeff, shake it off. I was like, tag Matt off. Tag Matt. Tag Matt. He's like, tag Matt. He's like, let them do the heavy lifting, Jeff. You don't deserve this. Like, everyone's understanding. So, Jeff, you got to understand from the crowd perspective. They feel sorry for you. You provided enough for our childhood. These kids don't need to experience you. Because, you know what? You know you're not realizing, Jeff? A lot of these wrestlers that even I grew up on, I didn't see half of them wrestling in real time, but I know about Hulk, and even when he come back, that's not the real Hulk. So when I see that old Hulk, I'm like, oh, why he don't do this like that? Can you give those kids those type of imagination? Because you're just showing them this shit, and then you're falling on your neck. Like, that was me.
That was scary. That could have ended up really bad. I'm surprised they still won the match.
Exactly. I thought he was going to be but I told my girlfriend, I was like, he's a veteran. He took a bump like that. He could take a bump like that.
Oh yeah.
He used to fall on his head like that. But the only difference is he can actually feel it right now, and I know he feel it because bro, he spent the rest of the match on the apron laid out like
that. No perks, no nothing. You gotta go home and ice that shit. Put some heat on it. Damn.
Bro, I'm telling you.
No out, no nothing.
They came over there and talking. He was fucked up. But I digress. That was the buy-in. Yeah. That was the buy-in. So we already know the Hardys beat Ethan Page.
Yeah, that was just on my mind, bro. Because that was an insane moment.
That was crazy. Something crazy as fuck to watch in real time, bro. We were all nervous for him.
With that being said, bro, what's the first match you want to talk about for AEW Double or Nothing?
It has to be Orange Cassidy defending his international championship in this Battle Royal. Now, this Battle Royal was dope as fuck because it incorporated a lot of stories. They incorporated Swerve and Keith Lee's story, pushed that forward a little bit, incorporated Rock Hard Juice Robinson and Bang Bang Gang with Bullet Club and everything going on with them and Ricky Starks. And I feel like to me being there and seeing the AEW fans, like they've always been good at attention to detail when it comes to storytelling, but they're even getting even better at it and knowing how to utilize every match to push forward for Dynamite. So that way, now me attending Double or Nothing, I completely can't wait to see what's going to transpire on Dynamite. But overall, Orange Cassidy did retain his championship. It came down to him and Swerve. And honestly, I thought Swerve was going to win this because Swerve has been getting in this crazy shape. He's got more stocky. He looks like he's getting ready for that ascend into the main event, higher up in mid card, and he got to leave Keith Lee in the dirt. If the booking goes how I think it should go, Swerve has to beat Keith Lee because I don't feel like Keith Lee needs to necessarily overcome Swerve.
Yeah,
because Swerve
he's
is
wrestling with Dustin Rhodes.
Exactly.
Fired.
He's choosing the wrong path, and I feel like Swerve is still ascending, and he's a leader of his own group. You know what I'm saying? And that means that those people in that group, Loki sees a future in Swerve being the mouthpiece to talk for them and to represent them as someone who's winning. And he doesn't even have a championship, and he's the leader. So that let me know a lot right there. As far as the ending, Orange Cassidy is a true workhorse and storyteller and one of the greatest wrestlers in the world. I don't know why people are overstepping and looking past him because he puts his hands in his pocket. He said in the media forum when someone tried to depict his wrestling style or tried to say something along the lines of how you judge yourself, and he said something, I quote me if I'm wrong, but he is like, I know more than I show, and it's not necessarily a down pat when I have to use it, but I know when I have to turn it on, and I know that it has to be done then, and I can't wait. And I was like, that literally, he's like, I don't know if I said that right, but I was like, I get that shit. I get that. Yeah, I understand completely what you mean by that. You know that everyone already thinks and underestimating you or overestimating you to a degree.
Right, because you're chilling.
So less is more sometimes, and more is less depending on who you're dealing with.
Yeah.
And then it depends.
It's like Roman.
Yeah, and depending on the urgency of the match, and if you do not really fuck with them, that's how much investment he's going to be. But he said all that within the sentences and the words he used. So, but it didn't say all that. So, some people need to draw it all out. But I perfectly get his character, and it's just so great the fact that they used him to now establish this international championship in a completely different facet than Pac. Because when he first got it from Pac, I was like, damn, he gonna have to live up to that. But he surpassed him already in his own way. So I'm like,
now and he's putting this new title on the map.
Exactly. So I'm like, they're gonna have to.
He retired the last belt, damn near. Yeah.
And I'm like, so they're not even gonna have to really whoever get this stuff from him, they're gonna really have to live up to something because he put on a whole nother legacy. Because I didn't think he was gonna be able to beat the inaugural.
Yeah, he's on some Kobe Bryant shit. He rocked out with the number 8 and the 24. Orange Cassidy, he rocking out with the last belt, and he about to rock out with this belt.
And he not losing anytime soon. Just as far as how he won this match, bro. So they get to a battle. It's like neck and neck on the apron of the ring. They both transpired over the top rope at this point. So if they hit the floor, whoever hits the floor first, that's who's eliminated. Now they go through a series of moves. Orange Cassidy ends up on the left side of the apron. Swerve's hanging on by one hand. It looks like he's gonna cock back to him with a Superman punch, but he just and kicks his hand off the rope, and Swerve just drops. And that is
where else is you gonna see that? Where else are you gonna find that?
Nowhere else you gonna see that, and that is the most realistic, most chill, most cool, most I don't give a fuck way to win this match. I don't have to make a statement. I won. You get out of here. I outlasted all y'all. Defend this shit. I think that was my 23rd defense. Did it on pay-per-view, kicked the show off, got everything in motion, started off right. And I felt like that was the perfect way to start the show. And he's showing me with his AEW progression that he is reliable to start the show off because that is a big feat. That is like a reverse main event. We just said AJ and Seth did that. Orange Cassidy is doing that. And he's retaining. And this means that Tony has such faith in him. Going to these next pay-per-views, he wants him to continue to represent that belt until it makes sense for someone to really beat him. And that, above all, stamps his character, his wrestling ability, and that all the noise on the internet and people not getting him, maybe he's just not for you. A lot of people not my cup of tea, but at the same time, I can still know they're still a champion. They still have some credibility, Austin Theory, I don't like him as a wrestler, but he's doing what he's supposed to do. He's winning championships. Do I think he is improvement for his overall character that could make them championships more legible? Yes. Orange Cassidy, without a shadow of a doubt. A hater can't say he's not even having any type of assistance, and he's getting fucked over. He's getting interference in his matches, bro. And not to mention, in this battle royal, Prince Nana was helping Swerve the whole time, grabbing his leg, doing all this extra shit. It took Orange Cassidy overcoming that shit and just not giving a fuck and just being like, I'm gonna outsmart you. And I look forward to seeing great things.
He's so great because you just can't tell what his actual limitation is.
Exactly.
Because he's just too chill. And then, like he said, he know when to turn it up on you.
He literally knows exactly when to turn it up on you. And I'm looking forward to seeing him really get that world title, bro. I was thinking about that too. I was like, when he gets that, it's gonna be
a big
because he's gonna take on every challenge.
And it's gonna be for a long time. He gonna hold.
And then everyone's gonna be mad, like, why can't I beat Orange Cassidy? And then, like, that's something to build up to.
Yeah. Up next, we got Chris Jericho versus Adam Cole in an unsanctioned match, and this is a matchup that honestly we never thought we'd see. Like, when you think about where Adam Cole came from, NXT, you never thought that you'd see him in AEW going against Chris Jericho in an unsanctioned match. Where Chris Jericho is using fireballs.
Including Sabu.
Sabu. Like, why did Sabu need to be there out of nowhere?
It was amazing because within the first 5 minutes of the match, Sabu put the nigga through a table. He jumped up the top rope in a suit. A navy blue suit with his turban on. He flew. And he looked so unsturdy. This man is 60 years old. Put him through the table. Just like, and the thing is, I don't want you guys to get misconstrued because I'm saying he looked unsturdy because he's old. Sabu's always looked unsturdy, no matter how high he jumped off.
He's off balance. He's just
like, I'm gonna jump and hurt you.
Yeah, I'm getting
you gonna feel this because I'm so off balance that the weight is just gonna fuck you up.
You're right.
So that was cool. Yo, I don't know. Chris Jericho did something different than Adam Cole. He had Adam Cole in a different bag, bro. Adam Cole was beating him with his chain. He had Britt Baker come out, whoop Chris Jericho's ass with the kendo stick, had her whoop Soraya's ass. Then next thing you know, Adam Cole's taking the fucking chain, wrapping around his knee, and then he's bashing Chris Jericho. Then he takes it, hit him with the
Shining Wizard.
He hit the Shining Wizard to the back of the head twice. Then that doesn't end the match, bro. He wraps the chain around his fist and starts pummeling Chris Jericho's face to the referee. And bro, Jericho had a fat, bloody eye, like he just black eye, blue. And until the referee's like, stop the match. And then look, Chris Jericho just stared at me, and my girlfriend's like, no, he's really hurt. He's just laying there. It took them to go black for Chris Jericho to roll away.
Adam Cole's, I gotta hurt him for real.
Yeah, he did him bogus, and I just feel like this is great for Adam Cole. He's picking up a lot of momentum.
Really, bro. You beat up an old Chris Jericho.
No.
If you beat up Chris Jericho like that, like what? Like in the early 2000s, I'd be like, yeah,
but
shit.
But it was unsanctioned
this
match.
Nigga Chris Jericho using magic tricks in his matches nowadays, bro.
This is just like Sean. When Sean were wrestling. This is Chris Jericho's turn to do that shit.
Sean would never go out like that.
He wouldn't do no fireballs. But Chris Jericho's creative and he's funny.
Well, he also wouldn't let Adam Cole do him like that either.
He molded Adam Cole.
Hey, yo,
HBK taught me, boy. Hey. But he challenged him for Dynamite next week in a mixed tag team match. Him and Saraya taking on Britt Baker and Adam Cole, which I do think Saraya and them might win, but I don't want to see this feud continue anymore. I feel like this should just be I feel like Adam Cole, why still a good victory because it wasn't a real like one-on-one match, and I feel like that low-key would have been better. But this was just cool. You could beat him up, get rolling for the summer momentum. Who knows? Maybe win the Orange Hole Cup twice in a row. I wouldn't be opposed to that. Get that momentum you kind of missed last year. Go to Forbidden Door, wrestle. I hope that you live good. Nothing wrong happens to you, and you make the whole summer, and we see you tread towards that main title. I need you with a belt because nothing. It's cooler than Adam Cole with the belt, baby.
Yeah.
And, and it all makes it worth it. You know what I'm saying? You're very credible and legible in the ring, and you put on a great match with Jericho. Hit a few Panama sunrises, Canadian destroyers.
If he crosses paths with MJF, who's going over?
Oh, MJF's gonna go over, bro. It's not. It can't be right now. I'm sorry. That would derail everything you're going for Adam Cole. You gotta stay out of his way. You need to really build that up so they possibly take the belt off of him, or you could be the one to take the belt from him. But I'm completely flat out with all the speculation that the CM Punk shit is coming out. MJF is not getting the belt taken off him unless he goes through CM Punk or CM Punk takes the belt off of him. So let's get that out of our head right now. Okay, until CM Punk we see Phil in the ring, we aren't losing MJF as world champion anytime soon. This is what this whole payoff is for. This is what this whole shit is about.
Teddy Long said it looked like AEW staged CM Punk walking out, and they pretty much been paying him to stay away from the company and all that shit, which is why everything is all of a sudden so cool now, and he's just coming back on their biggest pay per view of all, right?
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. He
I
could come
agree.
back on that, and it could go like that too. But that's what I'm saying. So this Reign of Terror's MJF shit ain't going nowhere. So that's a little bit of a spoiler, you know. As far as the next match I want to talk about, Wardlow taking on Christian in this ladder match, bro. This was a surprise banger of a match for me, man. Honestly, I did not expect Wardlow to do half of the shit I saw him do. This man at one point in the match, bro, jumped from one end of the ring onto a ladder. He broke the ladder and still tried to climb it. Broke the leg of the ladder. That man is 300 pounds, bro. He's jacked. With Christian on, he tried to do that.
Yeah,
Might
he's
I add?
insane.
Now, look. At another point, Luchasaurus is getting in the mix. He's tired of him. He beats him up, puts him out on the table. This man, again, is 300 pounds, at least 6'3", gets on a 16-foot high ladder, pretends he's Jeff Hardy to his best ability, swanton bomb onto Luchasaurus to two tables. Now, do you think Christian had time to get to the ring and do all that shit and win? No, he did not, because Arn Anderson came down there, distracted him long enough for Wardlow to come through and fuck all that shit up. He climbed the ladder, claimed the championship, and he had a newfound respect for me because I honestly thought Christian was going to win and bring some new prestige to this championship. But the way that he displayed himself in this ring is like, how could he go over on Wardlow and he didn't do not near spot like Wardlow?
And Wardlow also been on some workhorse shit. You know what I mean? Like he's there all the time. Like Christian just came back off of injury, so him getting the belt fresh out of the blue, like that's not right.
Yeah, that's just not.
That's bad booking.
Yeah, it's not. So I feel like that's good too. This is good for Wardlow because he can say he beat Christian Cage, and now he can move forward. I feel like Christian should go to the back, chill on some shit, and really meditate on what he wants to do forward. Because I feel like Christian, you could be going for the AEW World Championship, but you know AEW is focused on the homegrown stars and like the younger people in a sense that are more fresher faces. So
Shit, he better go to Ring of Honor.
he was the Impact World Champion, so anything is possible.
I could see him beating Cesaro.
Mm-hmm.
Christian can't beat Cesaro. Get out of here,
He got a trick here. He had a turtleneck on, wrestle with a turtleneck, but I can't forget to mention
bro.
that
That'd be
shit.
a good feud too.
That'd be a good thing. He get in his head. He
Mm-hmm.
carried a few because Cesaro can't talk on the microphone.
Oh yeah, yeah. He would shit on Cesaro on the microphone.
Moving on to shit on. You know, I don't want to say someone got shit on, but it's kind of what happened in a sense. But we're gonna talk about the AEW Women's Championship, and that'd be Jamie Hayter taking on Toni Storm. Now, Toni necessarily she didn't get shit on her first reign, but she wasn't appreciated. So, seeing as how her winning the belt because Jamie did drop the belt to her, Jamie's battling a real life shoulder injury, kind of kayfabe because of what the Outcasts have done to her. But low key, this is a real injury that she's battling. That's why she couldn't even really defend the championship like that.
Yeah.
There were shenanigans from the beginning of the match that led to her demise, and she did put up a good fight. But overall, Toni went here with that power driver and would seal the deal and become a two-time AEW Women's Champion.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
I
In a
feel
short amount of time.
in a short amount of time. Now I feel like this is great because now she has this digression and a new lease on life, hanging out with Saraya.
And she's technically the greatest AEW Women's Champion of all time.
Only first and number 2 time. Even though I feel like she wasn't really appreciated in her first reign, I feel like this new reign she has a new lease on life. She's been hanging out with Saraya, so Saraya been a world champion from she was 21 years old. So she has that seasoned mentality, knowing how to carry herself. That's also why I believe she was placed with Toni, so to give her that edge and nurture these younger talents because she's gonna get that AEW Women's World Championship.
Yeah, she on some Trish Stratus
exactly,
right now.
exactly. But she's also facing illness, so it makes sense until she figures to work out her internal illness because she battles I'm not sure what it is, but it causes her stomach to swell up and down. I feel like it's IBS or something like that. So
She needs some Pepto
she's dealing with that. So that's why you don't see her Saraya in the
She need to
ring
get
too
some
often.
Tums. Baby needs some Tums.
That's why you don't see Saraya in the ring too often. But
I keep me some Tums because I get that bubbly. Oh, get the farting and shit. Eat you one of them Tums. You got to get the good Tums too. The ones that are kind of sour. Them joints is
the
good.
one that break down hard.
Yeah. Like
Because they're gonna bring that fiber to you.
yeah, man.
But yeah, I look forward to seeing Tony's reign. Jamie, hopefully you can recover. And I hope that you took this L so that way you have time to come back in your home country for All In and have that massive ovation, potentially win the championship back, and really have a real hard hitting feud with Tony Storm because you guys have a lot of similarities in your styles. You both hit hard. You both have an accent. You both come to play. You're not here to just look like you're just here to model and shit. You guys want to win championships, and you guys are pushing AEW division forward because those are two standouts that weren't there 2 years ago or even a year ago. Now both of you guys have risen to the occasion, and I'm hyped on that. Last year, you guys were in a fatal four-way for the championship. This year, you guys are main event in the division. So I'm seeing the steps and the leaps and the bounds. So moving forward, I can't wait to see what's gonna happen.
Yeah, bro. From the jump, I knew Toni Storm was gonna win this match, and yeah, in all seriousness, she does deserve it. She brought out a whole nother mean streak since she's been in this group, and it's been showing in the ring. And not only showing in the ring, but it's also elevating her style and also making it even more believable when she gets her wins because you're dominating these females. You know what I mean? She went in there and she did not play with Jamie. She really showed Jamie what was cracking. Like, bitch, I'm not the last Toni Storm that you beat. Like, I'm somebody else. You know what I mean? So and I always knew Toni had that in her, and like I felt like that's also why she didn't work out in WWE because she couldn't tap into that next level. They wanted to see her go Rhea Ripley style, and she kind of should have, and she should have, kind of embraced that a little bit, brought that mean streak out a little sooner, and it probably would have worked out a lot better for her. But I'm happy that she's in the position that she is in today in AEW, being a two-time world women's champion, and everybody counted her out. You counted her out at one point, said that she was done. This is it for her. And she went out there and showed you and that she can recreate herself in the ring and dominate and win back that title and bring herself back to prestige. So shout out to Toni Storm, and I can't wait to see who she's going to defend that belt against next. I hope it's some real legible competition because one thing I don't like to see is just an easy win or a squash match like we just seen with Rhea Ripley and doing Natalia. Like we knew off the rip what was going to be the outcome of that.
I look forward to the future of the AEW's women's division. A lot to look forward to. But quickly, I want to bring up this next match. Like it was to me, this match. It wasn't what happened in the match at all. It was what happened prior to this match. And this was the House of Black in the open count taking on the Acclaim. The House of Black, quote unquote, did not know that Acclaim was coming out. But oh my god, bro, this was the funniest fucking part of the whole show. Like I said, I was there live. This shit, Max Caster is funny, bro. Like
he's got jokes.
He got jokes, bro. He's so fucking funny. You know what he said to?
That's why I just wish he wasn't in this fucking group talking about scissoring dudes. Like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all?
They had such a grasp on the crowd, bro. I went to the bathroom to take a piss. This little fucking, he couldn't be more than 2-3 years old. He was quoting them. He had the fucking foam finger. His dad and his dad's friend, they're all scissoring his foam finger and shit. They're all hyping him up.
This is gay.
Yeah, I'm like, this shit is weird. I'm like, and I'm staring at, I'm like, oh really? Is he 2-year-old? It's 3. This is cool. He's going around telling people, scissor. What do you tell him? Oh, it's wrestling. I couldn't even tell people I watch wrestling. Oh, you watching that fake shit? You telling the kid that?
Hey, imagine telling somebody that you watch wrestling and then you watch that and you like to imitate that.
But the kid was but I knew that kid was seasoned too because he was quoting MJF too. He said, "I'm better than you." I said, "Oh, okay. You kind of saved. Because Max don't fuck with them. You just with the wrong Max right now. You're gonna grow up and realize, Dad, why are you?"
Right. When you start getting more into girls and shit, you be like,
Dad, why you do that? Why Why you have me doing that? You got this phone for you. Got pictures with me doing this shit.
That's another look. That shit is satanic. That shit is satanic, yo.
I was crying, bro. I was like, this is not real. But I digress. Max Caster, he came out. He spoke directly to Buddy Matthews on the microphone. You know what this man said?
He made a reference to Dominic, right?
He dissed the fuck out of him. Yes, sir. He said Buddy Matthews trying to act all ominous when he's getting cucked by a kid named Dominic. I was like, he just called this nigga a cuck in front of at least 10,000 people, and everybody was rolling. Everyone, I could tell you, people behind me, in front of me, all.
I don't even think that was that crazy though.
Like, he told him he's getting cucked. He told him so he gotta watch. And but the thing is, Buddy's really insecure. He be commenting shit. He deleted a tweet today after he responded to because Aria was like and added Dom. He said we're over at another company or we were over there, and Buddy responded. He's like, yeah, more TV time or something. He was salty, bro. He be butthurt about Dominic. He be making posts like, yeah, you're some people's mommy, but you're babe to me. I was like, you're insecure. And Dom was in there. He's in that brain, boy. And that, bro.
Dom is married. Dom got a fiance.
Yo, that shit got him, boy, it makes him boil up. Because I was even watching in the ring, bro. The way he couldn't wait to get his hands on Max. He waited to get him. Then he got him outside the ring. He threw him into the barricade extra fucking hard. How that shit moved like 5 feet. He threw him like twice in that shit.
Was
pummeling him. And then, obviously this is, the house back gonna lose to them. But yo, Max Custer pulled no punches because I really don't feel like he checked with Buddy like, yeah, I'm gonna say this, yada yada yada. Because Buddy's not that kind of guy, and you're not gonna go to him for say so on a fucking match with him. Because he doesn't have that much credibility. Like, yeah, he's a technical savant and he's real smooth in the ring, but what has he done? Like, he kissed Rey Mysterio's daughter. So I know Dominic be like, how you stressed? Thought it was fun, right? I like this. And I haven't even kissed her yet on TV.
Right.
But you got your mind wandering. She looked like she liked this, right? You think she'll leave you?
And it don't even look like Rhea like him as like...
He just looks
like it doesn't seem like she likes him as a boyfriend. It seems like she likes him as like a little bro. Like, this my little Nino, my Dom. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I mean, she be looking at him kind of freaky every now and then.
And the crowd was chatting shit to him like, "Who's your mommy?" And they were but they make it. He's insecure, bro. I know he is. And they were like, and they're chatting shit like, Dom. They're not even chatting. They don't chat your name, bro. They chatting his name. He's sick.
I'd be mad.
Seeing all that transpire. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with you, buddy. I know you were going to be in the doghouse because you had to delete that tweet because you knew something was wrong with that tweet. And Rhea was gonna be fucking with you being a sport. And she probably already talked to him aside, like, you don't gotta be insecure. I'm just my coworker. Yada yada yada. And to see him act out like that, she's like, that's ugly, bro. That's real ugly. And you like 8 years older.
It's all like, bro, like, Buddy a real person though. Like, he a man. Like, and somebody is on another TV show getting close to his wife. Like, nigga, that's what. Like, put yourself in his position. Let your girl be on another TV show let your girl be kissing up on Bobby Lashley like Rusev had to deal with. Bro, how you about to feel? Like, nigga, like I said, like we've said on previous podcasts, look, y'all might think these wrestlers don't get paid that much, but obviously they do because they down to do shit like that. Let their wives or husbands go and do freaky shit. Look at Vince McMahon. We was just talking about him earlier in the show, making out with Trish Stratus in front of his wife for that check, for that WWE check. For that AEW check, them ratings, like, boy, they'll do whatever for them fucking ratings.
Oh, my God.
It's a scary world out there, yo. You better know what you're getting into if you're getting into it.
It's super scary, bro.
Shit, you got to check all emotions at the door and act like that shit ain't happening. Like, I'm going to be honest. Put me in that situation, I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to be like, man, I'm not trying to watch my bitch get kissed on and flirted with on television. Yeah, we spending this check and loving it, But at the same time, I'm like, is this bitch fucking with that nigga behind the scenes? Because you gotta get close to the nigga. You gotta have this. You gotta have that chemistry. You gotta go out on dates and shit. So that way it's vibing right on screen. Like, oh hell no, hell nah, bro. I would be trying to whoop Dominic's ass after every fucking show. I don't give a damn. Like, I'm just keep it a stack, bro. I'm a man, and I'm not afraid to admit that. Like, that's my bitch. What you talking about? I worked hard for her, nigga. What the fuck? What is you talking about, nigga?
He's sick. She don't want you. She want a real show though. But anyway, moving on to some serious business. We had the AEW TBS Championship. Jade Cargill taking on Taya Valkyrie in a long overdue match. And this match did not go how I thought it was going to go, but it did go how I thought it was going to go. I had a feeling that Jade was going to still stick it to the Taya because she got the same finisher as Jade. And I just had a feeling they were going to be like, okay, if she is going to lose, why would they bury her finisher and her streak and take the championship from her? That's a triple threat. That we can't do that.
Yeah, no.
So Taya obviously hit the move first, but then Jaded hit her move, hit the Jaded, of course, and that showed you that hers got a little more oomph on it. But not only did they elevate her past Taya Valkyrie by beating her and letting her retain the championship, she actually showed that her version of doing the move is actually more impactful somehow. It held her down for a 3 count. She didn't have to do it twice or nothing.
Right.
And she didn't kick out. That would lead to smart Mark Sterling coming out and writing checks that Jay's body just could not cash. Because he started talking about Jay has no competition. He started giving her lots of praise, talking about her feet and how she's made 60-0 and she'll take on challenges anywhere. And just so happened we had the returning Chris Stratlander come out and answer the call. And she beat Jade. She hit her with her version of a tombstone pile driver. And she picked up the victory and became the second ever TBS champion. Now, I think that is great because not only was that a fresh face, which is another AEW homegrown talent. So far, 2 homegrown talents have held that championship. Now, that provides certain type of lineage for that championship. Chris Stratlander, people could look at it, well, she's coming off an ACL tear. But I was actually doing my research, and I watched her before she tore her ACL. Great in-ring work. Friends with Orange Cassidy. So that tells you Orange Cassidy don't hang out with nobody that's not a great in-ring competitor. Even the best friends, as much as I'm not a supporter of them, those are 2 legible competitors outside of AEW in New Japan and in the wrestling circuit as a whole. So seeing her come back and getting her just due, because honestly, before she was injured, she was shaping up to go for that TBS championship. And I'm glad they low-key held it down for her to finish her story, quote unquote. And now I look forward to see great things. And now, not to mention, Jade can finally ascend to that main women's division because she's had so much growth. Like I keep referring to the guy behind me. I love going to these wrestling events live and hearing the other discourse from everybody else. Even if I don't speak to them, just hearing what's out there in the wrestling world. And the guy was saying it's so good seeing Jade. I don't even know what he looks like, but I just hear him. It was so great seeing Jade's face. I'm seeing Jade develop over the past year. You can see the growth in her in-ring ability. She hit a top rope springboard move in the match, bro, and it was clean as fuck. You would have thought AJ Styles did it, and she's taller than AJ Styles, bro.
Yeah, bro. She doesn't show her whole moveset, which is also what I like about her. But we don't get to see it because most of her matches are squash matches.
Bro, and guess what? I know it won't be for much longer because guess who called her on the media score? Toni Storm. He said maybe Jade, I know she just lost, maybe she's going to lose again, but so just hearing that lets me know this is all part of a greater plan because this 60-0 and the streak's already out the window. She's already proved that she can win and she's synonymous with winning. Now, and then the other women are finally acknowledging her. Before they act like there was a 4th wall, she's invisible, just holding down that TBS. She didn't acknowledge them. She's about to go in that division, and this AEW Women's Division is about to really take off because they've been pet projecting her, protecting her, making sure she doesn't take any foul losses or do anything that's not dominant, so that way she's now a new real dominant force.
Yeah.
Because Nyla Rose is a fake dominant force. She's not what Jade is. Not near a specimen athletically, nor providing the fact that Jade's a rookie and they had so much faith to give her the first championship, and honestly her reign, that's a lot to live up to, even for this wrestler who has
508 days.
Even for this wrestler who has more in-ring credibility than Jade, quote unquote, she got to live up to that. So if anybody wants to pay attention to how to develop a superstar, they got to pay attention to how Toni did with her because it's paying off, man. I'm seeing because look, she got the girls thirsty to fight her to prove something because they're like, how are you going on shows representing the company and you're not even ready to roar? You don't think Toni Storm was slighted by that? Seeing Jay go on the Breakfast Club, go talk for AEW, and she's not.
Right.
So it's like I'm just loving the way AEW is shaping up. It's a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, definitely. I just want to say Jade and Bianca Belair, they both deserve their flowers, yo. They lost their belts and their streaks ended in the same weekend, which I don't know. It almost seems racist, but I'm going to go ahead and leave that alone. But I want to say they've been symbols of excellence for almost 2 years straight, and I couldn't be more proud to have witnessed both of their reigns. Just because they lost doesn't mean that y'all have seen the last of them. I promise you, they will be right back at the top. And Bianca Belair, she will have another long reign. And Jade, she will have definitely a long reign when she finally wins that AEW Women's Championship. Very, very proud of both of them.
Definitely. And speaking of very proud, have to talk about this four-way match for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. And that would be including MJF taking on Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara versus Jungle Boy. Now, honestly, it was a great match. I feel like this match was a great way to showcase the talent Jungle Boy, Darby Allin, and Sammy Guevara possess. And to come up with this storyline, that being MJF, which he wrote this entire storyline, shows that he's selfless in the aspect and cares about the business beat because he knows he is showing his multifacetedness in the business. Not only is he a good wrestler on the mic, in the ring, he's working behind the scenes and he's trying to elevate the talent with him. He's going to elevate those around him, and even though they can be looked at as competition, he knows for the greater good of AEW, he needs to have them elevate to his level. I think overall, this is a setup for Phil to come back and take on the devil, quote unquote, he created. Because the MJF is only saying that to get underneath CM Punk's skin and because he feels he's beat or surpassed whatever CM Punk's done. Because he used to look up and
Right, that's why he's saying he's the best in the world now.
and that's why he idolizes. This is all long term booking. The only reason he's doing this, or even was talking about going to a different company, because he felt like Tony Khan wasn't respecting him and was putting CM Punk over him in expense of paying him more.
He said, "You think Nick Khan don't want me in his company?
Make me a main eventer." So notice how he brought up, even in the media forum, the 2024 thing, and he started bringing this thing up. Why is he bringing it up again? Who's coming back to the company again? CM Punk. This is the build. So that's why I say this championship reign. So clearly as I'm talking, he did not lose, he retained. This reign is all centered around the beautiful feud that him and CM Punk had and the storytelling and the classic wrestling feel they've brought back to wrestling with them having that on-screen chemistry. So I don't see this reign going anywhere until we establish CM Punk and they meet while Max has that championship. It doesn't have to be even in the ring. It could be backstage. And it could be a subtle stare and a smirk by Punk. And he doesn't even acknowledge fucking MJF. And that drives him to call him out for a match. Mm-hmm. And he's trying to tell him, you've been gone. Who's been here? Who's been the one doing this? And then CM Punk's like, why do you think you've been doing this? Because I've been gone. Mm-hmm. It's just the writing on the wall. And I feel like MJF, this is why I feel like he really is a generational talent. And he's showing me facets that people are not really paying attention to. And they could say whatever they want. But that's why he talks and carries himself the way he does. Because he's blurring the line just like CM Punk does. When Punk is involved, you don't know if this is real life or that's really how CM Punk really believes he's the best professional wrestler in the world. And he's just doing this all to prove that. Or he just has an agenda. And you don't know if MJF has an agenda. He's trying to be the best professional wrestler in the world, or he's just trying to get the biggest payout. Because CM Punk was never about the money. So that's the only twist to MJF. You know what I'm saying? CM Punk tries to paint it as he's an anarchist and he's the voice of the people that's getting stepped on. MJF pisses on those people and he highlights the fact that he's better than everybody. Just like CM Punk, but CM Punk highlights he's better than everybody because he doesn't do drugs or alcohol and he has good morality. So you see that MJF's character is based strongly off of CM Punk, but he took the twist of being a low life in the sense of I don't do drugs or alcohol, but I'll do anything to win. CM Punk will do anything to win, but at the same time, moral integrity will stop him from being depicted doing certain things. And that's the difference.
Because he's a real wrestler and not a sports entertainer.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And that's why MJF is going to be able to capitalize on certain things that Punk wasn't, because he's more marketable. Notice how he's able to say all this crazy ass shit, but he's still able to go and get noticed when he goes to UFC. He's still able to go represent the company. He's not completely tatted up. He doesn't look like a lowlife. He may say and act like one, but you have to be invested in the product to know that. Off the first look at CM Punk, you're just like, he's scruffy. Mm-hmm. You can get past MJF and then he's a piece of shit. I thought he was well dressed. He came.
Yeah, and honestly, like CM Punk has built such a legendary career in WWE alone, which pretty much elevated him into the position he's in with AEW.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, I have nothing but pure respect for Phil, and I got to take my hat off to him for being able to keep your foot on the wrestling world's neck to where they can allow you to come back and win a world title off the rip like this, and especially after falling out with your company and shit. Like,
and the thing is with that is,
both of your companies, I should say.
And the thing was with him is that's why I respect him, because he's learned from the teacher, man. He learned you have to be all in with this wrestling shit. That's why I support him, because he makes, like I said, he knew I gotta elevate Darby, Sammy, and thing. I don't want to be too far ahead of them because it's gonna fuck up the brand. I'm part of this brand, so I have to show them I can bring them to my level. Because if you noticed, he let them. People were realizing that they were really weren't on his level, and it wasn't because he tried to expose them. He put them in the spotlight that he's in, and how he has to deliver every time he has a microphone in his hand. How he has to have the spotlight constantly on him. Yeah, he doesn't wrestle as much as you, but he has a bunch of liberties and shit that you don't deal with, that you're not used to, but you're clamoring for. Let's see if you can handle it. And then a lot of times, that's why Jungle Boy was so exposed, because he's talking too much. And he's so dry. This nigga MJF had to tell him, I want to throw him in an echo chamber so he can just bore himself to death. Darby doesn't know how to he doesn't know how to really accentuate across the screen that he's not just, I'm a reject and I could be a champ and and then that's this real problem with his character, because how can you be the
AEW
got
World ceiling on it?
Yeah, how can you be the AEW World Champion if your main thing is everyone's just doubting you already?
Yeah, everybody's always just got to feel bad.
You're a different Jungle Boy, except you don't want sympathy. Even though Jungle Boy might have said you don't want it, but you're just like, I know it comes with it, but who cares? I'm a rebel. And then he knows Sammy is looked at as he doesn't cut enough good promos, but he's a fucking great in-ring competitor. But at the same time, he'd expose Sammy to have more pieces, more singletary moments. Notice how Sammy was not involved with the JAS a lot. And that's
Sammy's up next.
And that's because of Max. Max is showing you. And Max doesn't have Cody anymore, bro. So Max showed all of you. You guys all have your right hands even still on set. Even if on the screen you guys split ways, I don't have him anymore around me. And I'm flourishing. Cody, to the point where Cody said, I'm watching my young one. He even said, I'm not going to name him because I don't want him to give him no heat or pop him up. Because he knows how he can spin that and do that shit, bro. He taught him too well. So he's seeing him flourish and he's just like, look at my son go. They're not ready for him. They thought they were ready for him. That's why I was ready to leave my company. Because I know he's my stronghold on that shit too. I know I had him and Ricky. That's why they're doing so good. And they don't need necessarily championships to thrive. Because Cody built his championship legacy and his entity off of him. Is you exuding yourself on the screen. How are you carrying yourself? The suits, the presentation. None of them, that's why I recorded that shit. None of their ring entrances was even up to par with that nigga shit. So I'm like, yeah, if he really wants to go to WWE, he's ready.
I was like, look at Cam promoting this tomorrow.
He's
he's terrible.
Yeah.
This man was doing Ramadan and all type of shit.
Yeah.
Just so that way he can praise the devil later.
I'm not praising the devil. I'm looking at this.
He said, look at it. Yeah, go.
I said, little top. Look, this is perfect. It's young boy. Young boy will fuck with MJF for sure. He said he got a lot of designer.
Nah, young boy, I don't like the devil. Man.
Nah, he said
I might dance, but I don't like the devil.
nah.
Y'all don't talk me like that.
I'm demonic, man. I just wish I could stop, but I can't stop. But anyway, MJF retained, and he did it with a headlock takeover, and he did that to prove a point to Darby Allin because Darby was trying to get revenge on him, saying he was going to win the championship with a headlock takeover. Bro, MJF outsmarted all of them. Even, I just want to take a quick segue. Before the match, Sammy announced that he had a baby, right? MJF is the ultimate heel. In the middle of the match, he said, wait, cut the shit. Hey, Sammy, catching his breath. You just said you about to have a kid. I know you need the money. Just lay down, man. Take the pen. Just take the pen. I was rolling. I said he's in the middle of a world championship match and he just did that. And he's still gonna win. I know he's gonna win. You know, most of these people, they do shit like that. That's what makes his selling and everything just the utmost. Because he's winning. They do that shit, and this algorithm, they gotta lose because they were distracted. He did that shit, and he said, fuck yourself, man. He had him, and then he went for a little small package. You know, MJF kicked out. Anyway, Darby Allin thought he had the match, one hook, line, and sinker. He was gonna hit a coffin drop. I believe it was on Jungle Boy. Max put the belt on Jungle Boy's chest. Darby, he moved the belt, hit Darby with the headlock takeover. 1, 2, 3. I look at him like, damn, like you proved another point because you just did that shit to that nigga twice, and within that's like 2 years apart. Or even that was last time they wrestled was 2021. He did that to him 2 years apart. So you low key just shut that shit down, Darby. You're not there. I just outsmarted you with that shit. You showed Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy was about to hit him with the title. He showed the utmost pussy shit, bro. He looking like he wanted to hit him with the title, but then like, no, I'm a good boy, so I throws the shit down, bro. That fucks him up. And you know, Sammy's willing to do it. Sammy showed out, bro. He did some phenomenal, no pun intended. AJ would have been proud seeing him flip all over the ring, and bro, he was making me be like, okay, Sammy.
Bro, that's why I was on this show preaching that, yo, he should be next up. If anybody were to win this match other than MJF, it should be him because he's the most readiest out of all of them. You know what I mean? From his in-ring paralysis and whatnot. But, bro, I got to say, it was obvious that MJF was going to win this match. It was just set in stone before this match was even created.
Bro, I already knew.
You know what I mean?
It's like a foregone conclusion at this point.
It's just pretty much obvious that the other pillars just aren't as ready as MJF. You know what I mean? And every sequence of the match kind of just showed because MJF was just always just one step ahead of each one. So, you know what I mean? Playing the head games with Sammy, throwing the belt on Darby, like he's just always, you know, putting his little stamp on it and then waiting for these niggas to fuck up so that way he can just go in there and clean up. So, hat off to MJF. Even though it was written like that, you still got to respect that he was able to go out there and execute the match in the fashion that he did. And on top of that, get a legible win against the other three pillars of AEW. And at the end of the day, it says a lot if you can get through a whole match without hurting yourself or hurting someone else. So, you know, that also shows the professionalism that he has in the ring. So, again, hat off to him.
It's funny we're mentioning Cody having a fake broken arm because MJF throughout that match, he went for a powerbomb Darby off the top rope. And yes, he protected Darby, but his arm seemed to be really busted up and like it was broken. He still continued the match because he had a cast in the media scrum. And I was like, that looked like a real injury because I was there watching. I was like, he looked in real pain. He sold, but not like that. Like he's in hurt. And just to watch him continue to do that, be able to raise his hand and like, I'm just seeing like, even though he is a piece of shit, he's a great wrestler. Like he's able to like really tell a story. At the same time, bro, I've seen all the different styles to be able to mesh with Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, Takeshita. He's wrestled all these four pillars wrestled different. He's had all great classes with him. That's why he low key. If Max wasn't such a smart strategic wrestler and knew he had to wrestle with all of them when he was younger and didn't stand off and like that quote unquote pay his dues then, they would have had no real alignment to wrestle him because he's beat all of them before. they haven't beat him, and they still. And I like how you said that they show that they're not ready, but at the same time, this shows that the ceiling is still higher for them, because if you guys aren't ready at this age, the next time, you guys got to get the chip.
Yeah, and anybody else that faces any three of these competitors, like, it's gonna be a dogfight.
Pretty much, and that pretty much stamps them that they're the levels you have to meet to even get to even MJF. And I think that's cool. That it's just cool that he came up with this, because not many wrestlers that are going to be the main champion at a young age like this is going to even think, oh, I'm just show up and do what the writers and maybe critique that I should be doing like this. He all involved he involved all of them, which I think is great. And this was perfect setup to the final match for Double or Nothing, because this match I'm about to talk about, which is the Anarchy in the Arena match, was complete, unadulterated violence and chaos, and that was the Elite taking on the Blackpool Combat Club. And I loved every moment of this match, because this match didn't even start from the ring; it starts from the rafters. I was sitting close to the floors, like right before the floor, and you see Jon Moxley start trooping down, and they're leading on them and waiting on them. They don't even wait no more. They're rushing the crowd. So many people standing up. Everybody's on the edge of the seat watching, trying to see. They want some blood on them. Excuse me. They want to get hit. They want to accidentally bump John while he's bleeding. It's just a crazy and a sight to behold. I wrote down some key moments in the match that were just like I had to bring up. First off, we gotta mention Jon Moxley. He lured Kenny Omega away close to the entrance ramp and pulled out a fucking fork from out of nowhere. And he showed everyone what the shit was, and he jabbed and stabbed Kenny repeatedly in the face with it. Repeatedly. Like, he had one good jab to show him, I'm going to stab this man. But then he showed him, like, nah, that's not enough. I need y'all to know I'm a stabber. And it's like a real hard steak that he can't sink his teeth into. Then he just started pounding Kenny until he started bleeding. I want to say a good 3/4 of this match was bleeding. It was a rare. I don't want to say only Wheeler was one of the was somebody who did not bleed, or I think Danny was bleeding too. I want to say only Wheeler was really not bleeding.
Yeah, Wheeler's the only one that got out safe.
If everybody's blood was spilled, and it was just great to see. I saw an exploding.
Thank God COVID is over, because all of the men could be in serious jeopardy.
Serious jeopardy, bro. Matt Jackson hit Claudio with he hit Jon Moxley with an exploding super kick. Do you like this man? I don't know how he configured pyro to his Air
Them
Jordan
boys
ones.
all need tetanus shots after that shit.
Yes, bro. Blood spilling everywhere. Blood. John drank some because he was biting on somebody after he opened.
Oh yeah.
He hit when Matt Jackson hit him with the super kick. His shit sparks flew, bro. Like,
bro, Jon Moxley's one of those dudes that'll kill something in the wild and then eat the heart, because it just make him just feel ascend strong and shit. Yeah, he's one of them type of niggas. He's known for drinking blood on TV.
And then speaking of Matt got his payback on Matt for hitting with that exploding super kick. Then Matt was stripped of his shoe, and then they placed him in the thumbtacks, bro, with the shoe, with no socks, no nothing, to step down. I was like, damn, he did him. I was like, oh, bro,
I was not fucking with the Elite.
No, not at all. Then you know what they did to him? They wasn't done with Matt. John filled his mouth with thumbtacks while Claudio uppercutted him.
On some Mortal Kombat shit. Like, that's some shit that you only see on Mortal Kombat.
Man, like, I can believe these are grown trained professionals. These are two, like, damn near stars owners of the company. I'm like, this is fucking insane.
That's what I say, bro. Jon Moxley ain't nothing to fuck with.
Then Hangman, he cornered Bryan Danielson. Then he removed his fake eye patch to show that his vision is intact. Then he pulled out a screwdriver, like he was about to get his cut back. But Wheeler Yuta came out and saved him. Yeah, I'm gonna say Wheeler Yuta.
And they started whooping that trick.
They started whooping Hangman. I'm like, fuck. But Hangman had a lot of moments in this match too. I can't lie. He was flying around, hard hitting. He didn't get the real embarrassing dominated. That was saved for Kenny Omega, because he's the centerpiece of this story. Yes. But I feel as though, like, Wheeler Yuta was very much highlighted, and I want WWE to pay attention to how he is a young talent, who's somebody who I watched blossom with this group, the BCC, who I did not feel even needed to be in that group. And he showed me now that he, more than ever, he deserved to be with that group.
And he was a great champion.
He's a great pure champion. So he lost the champion, but I'm going to give y'all a spoiler. He pinned Kenny Omega in the ring. I'm going to tell y'all how he ended up doing that. But I saw a lot of growth with him, who wasn't even on the card last year in this facet.
Yep.
So for seeing that growth in you, that means Kenny believes in you. Bryan Danielson believes in you. Everybody fucking believes in you, Wheeler. And
Yeah, bro,
that,
he's been putting in so much work. I always told you how he's one of my favorites out of that group.
yeah, because he has a mean streak low key, but he just has to figure out how to tone it. Like
He knows when to turn it on and off.
Yeah.
Like when he really wants to dominate a match, like he can, bro. And he has tremendous mat skills. Like he can really get down.
Yeah, and I want to say
Him hanging out with Daniel and then Cesaro and John, former world champions, bro.
He's a future AEW World Champion.
Yeah,
for sure. But he's a slow builder. They're tuning him up great because he's waiting for him to build that mass because he's still the smallest one out the group because he hasn't figured out. He's still maturing, so he hasn't figured out how to really put on that weight and really elevate like how they're all gym heads and they all. Even John Moxley, don't be mistaken, his build is very slept on because he goes for that sleek bulk build.
If you guys see what Dean Ambrose used to look like, then you could actually respect what John Moxley looks like today.
Exactly, and I thought it was crazy. Wheeler Yuta would pick up this pinning victory by using a maneuver he learned from Chuck Taylor of the Best Friends, and he left the Best Friends because he felt like they weren't taking him to where he needed to be, and he wasn't taken seriously as a professional wrestler. That's why he lost to John Moxley, and that is why Wheeler Yuta ended up in the BCC. So this was all long-term booking. His moves that he learned from the beginning of his AEW career paid off in these current moments with this elevation of the training that he's had with the Blackpool Combat Club. Now let's get into the real nitty gritty because I gave it up to Wheeler Yuta, but yo, Kenny Omega is a legend. He's a flat out legend, bro. I watching him live. I've gotten the pleasure to say I've watched him live wrestling, and this shit is phenomenal, bro. Like this nigga he is a generational talent. No pun intended. Like really one of the ones. Like he's somebody I don't even hesitate why he didn't go to WWE because he tells you without telling you, and he tells you outside the ring. He wanted international dominance without having to go for that stamp. He is the stamp internationally. If you want to have anywhere classic or even depicted as somebody, you have to face Kenny. Jericho's faced Kenny Omega to solidify himself in Japan, bro.
It'll be just as easy for him as it was for AJ Styles to get to the top when he finally goes.
Exactly, and you know what it is? He's seen AJ do it, so he's like, I don't need to do it. I'll just solidify. AJ, you didn't stay down. I'm gonna be the stay down, so that's how I'm gonna make my legend. And
but at the end of the day, he's gonna sell out.
He gonna go be a little different. He gonna go one day, but he gonna show because his prowess in the ring is just so phenomenal. Because throughout the storytelling, like I say, he had me feeling like he was still gonna win. Mm-hmm. I thought Lee had a chance. I thought the BCC was gonna win because prior to the year before, they lost the match. So that let me know. I thought, okay, they gotta win. But the way that the Elite were coming back and they were showing that they could be just as violent. Then of course, Don Callis. And prior to me going to Double or Nothing and watching 12-minute sit-down interview with JR and Don Callis, and I'm so glad I did because it foreshadowed the events that would take place in this main event. Now, Kenny had Wheeler up for the one-winged angel, and then Don Callis made his way down to the ring behind him, and Kenny could feel the presence in the ring, so he was distracted, and he put him down, and then he slowly turned and he seen Don. And Don was a distraction for who? It'd be Takeshita of all people, but we didn't find out until he unmasked. He hit Kenny with this running knee, man. Even though Don Cookie got in the way, he still caught him pretty clean. That was still a hard-hitting knee. It led Wheeler to be able to pick up the screwdriver, stab Kenny in the head, jabbed him twice, then hit him with this seatbelt-like maneuver that he learned from Chuck Taylor for the win. And he had everyone chanting admiration. Don Callis picked up Kenny and was just talking to him and was like, disappointment, you. Because in that promo he was talking with JR, he said it's kind of like, when you have a kid. This is why I didn't have kids, because it's like you go all their life and then they grow up and then you're just like, you're a fucking disappointment. I hate looking at you. Disgust me. And that's what he said, Kenny Omega. That's his relationship. That's how he views him when he's with the Elite. Because he had this ideology. He's been in Kenny's life since he was 10 years old. 10 years old, he's been in Kenny's life. Kenny's uncle introduced Don to him. And Kenny at that time even said he was phenomenally obsessed with wrestling and he just wanted to eat, live, and breathe this. So Don Callis took him under his wing from at that point. So he's been in this man's life since a child. He was flat out claiming he's Kenny's daddy. He's not his uncle like his uncle. He's claiming he's daddy.
Yeah.
And then he was pretty much along the line saying like, I had this depiction of me and Kenny. Like he always talked to me. I'm the invisible hand for a reason. New Japan. He said I want international dominance. Dom. I don't feel like my message is being conveyed properly. Come to New Japan. Help me assert myself. I did it. What did we do? Dominate. Oh, showed out Tokyo Dome. Okada. Then you got it. He's low-key speaking facts too. So I'm like, damn. Then he's like, all right, we come here. And it's like, I have him, we go collect all the belts. And what do we do? The first night we in, I win the AEW Championship. He calls me here, we win. Then it's like, I have him to come back to get back to this dominance. And he goes off fluttering, chasing Trio Championship with the Young Bucks. He's like, I'm disgusted when I see Kenny with the Young Bucks. And I was like, even my girlfriend was like, yo, Loki, right? He's like, he needs to get rid of them shit. I'm like, yo, this Loki, like, but this has to tie into how good the Young Bucks are at fucking being themselves in this storytelling that they provided, because they know they kind of drag Kenny down in a sense that he's a fucking wrestling savant god, and these niggas are tag team wrestling gods, but they're not. It's different when you're that and how you revolutionized the business doing that versus what you're doing it being a solo entity. You guys are relying on each other. Kenny is relying on the fact that he is an oddball. He loves 80s shit, video games. He incorporates that shit in his wrestling to where the point he acts like he's a Terminator. He got these personas he can hop into. So he can always reinvent himself. That's why he's even better than Jericho. Because Jericho needed that stamp. That's why I really respect him, because he's really like a blueprint. Like, it's hard to do what I do. Everybody I go, I get that respect. You see the WWE trying to fuck with me, and I ain't never stepped through them doors for real like that. You guys want to fuck with this. This is the reason why I went to champion. This is why I made sure I held that AEW World Championship, because I'm not no pussy. So for Wheeler to pin him, he's setting him up.
Oh yeah, that ascended Wheeler so high, bro.
Yeah, he tweeted it. Just flat out, no emojis, no nothing. I just tweeted that. I know he can't believe that. See him knee, fucking Takeshita knee him. He's gonna start feuding with Takeshita. That's ascended him. He elevated mad people in that storyline.
Yeah, because Takeshita he's a legit wrestler too, bro. I'm also happy to see his ascension too.
Oh, he's about to do the BCC training. So like, he's about to be on some different shit, and he's already wrestled John and Wheeler.
They about to be the new Bullet Club.
Yeah, on some different type of shit, and that's what he wants, because I feel like John Moxley.
And John Moxley can say he started that shit. Yeah. Bro, the Shield Boys are still up.
Yeah, because I feel like he is just like, okay, Elite. They low-key love what the Elite did. They just don't like what they represent, and they're like, they're supposed to be something like that. Yeah, but they're like, we're not pussies like them. That's why I love that this storyline is them feeling like they're pussies and not amateurs and not professionals, because at the end of the day, I know that's some truth to that, because they look at Moxley, Danielson, Claudio, all real tough, hardworking dudes that had to pay their dues and even got shit on when they went to the WWE. And these young bucks were going all around getting praised internationally. Yes, John did that too, but it's not the same. He wasn't even respected off his WWE shit. And these guys didn't have to go to WWE to get respected. So that's why they're like, we got to really form this club, guys, because this will be a legacy. These guys have a legacy. We're working for them in a sense. You know what I'm saying? So I love what I saw.
Yeah, and they can also take that group anywhere else in wrestling.
Anywhere else, bro. And that's why I feel like the Elite, I always give them respect somehow. They gave me AEW. Like, they all serve their purpose. But I don't really care for the Young Bucks. I care for Hangman. And I knew about the Young Bucks before Hangman. But that just shows me, just even that watching that match too, they had a real plan for Hangman and Kenny and the Young Bucks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so definitely. But overall, there was nothing for me. It was a solid pay-per-view. That's a strong 8 out of 10. I felt as though the matches, I wasn't too sure how they were, but the way they paced and planned out exceeded my expectations. And I feel like that's always better than being let down.
Definitely, bro. I have to agree with you. It was a very eventful pay-per-view, along with Night of Champions and NXT Battleground. I definitely enjoyed this weekend of wrestling. There was just action all over. As you can see, like there was just so much news to break down, which is why this is probably going to be the longest show we've ever had. But yeah, we appreciate you guys locking in with us and giving your feedback on what y'all like in the wrestling world.
Definitely. This is also why I'm grateful for AEW, because without them, we wouldn't be seeing these pay-per-views on this type of arc, and it's only ascending up. It's like a roller coaster ride, and we don't know when it's gonna drop. And I don't want to see it drop anytime soon. They pushed the boundary, so that's why we're getting a great Night of Champions. That's why we're getting a great NXT Battleground. Overall, those pay-per-views for WWE equally were worth watching. And even somebody at Double or Nothing still made sure to have their phone live because that was a big thing going on. Why did they have to? Why did NXT have to go on the same time as Double or Nothing? Because people are supportive of both. I support both. I love seeing the WWE prosper as well as AEW because they're helping each other. They're making each other think outside the box and trying to think things to divert from each other and not be the same. Because when you're the same, you dilute people's attention and you make the product watered down. So I love seeing AEW has more of the adult content, the more of the blood, the more cursing, the more fans getting flipped off by the entertainers and these wrestlers. And I love WWE has the aspect of sports entertainment, but it's good family fun. But at the same time, it can be preordained and focused on championship wrestling. That's the one thing AEW has the edge on, I'll say, as me watching these two pay-per-views. For example, AEW had one match, I want to say, that did not involve a championship, and that was Chris Jericho's match. And I'm okay with that because at the end of the day, he is a founding person of why you guys are transcending globally. And at the end of the day, Adam Cole, like I said, easy victory for him to just pick up.
Back in the day, all the WWE pay-per-views were kind of like that, like where it was just mostly championship matches. You
Yeah,
know
and
what
I
I
feel
mean?
in the storylines, I think it's because the characters, bro, and that's why I love AEW because I notice AEW has a lot of strong characters that are wrestlers who care about the
Well, shit,
wrestling.
they better, bro. They got fucking like
No,
three other companies attached to them. Like, what else?
they got to care about this
Y'all
character.
got to do something.
I want WWE to character development and like me and him always say, when they transcend to that tunnel or that portal from NXT to WWE main roster, even if he wants to say it should be a main roster too, there should be no change between the portal and you guys should let them stick with what brought them to the dance. Because everybody that is thriving, and look at the four pillars that we just mentioned, they've been sticking with what brought them to the first time I laid eyes on them on an AEW product. They ain't never switched up. That is the problem with the WWE. You guys are so quick to run the creative. Hey, he needs a new gimmick. He needs this. And that takes away all the character from that wrestler and it strips them of us of having that give a fuck about them.
Yeah.
Because we get a Madcap Moss. What the fuck is that? We get a Happy Corbin. What the fuck is that? We get all these things that grown people like they're doing things that grown people don't do. That's why I feel like AEW Chris Jericho, the most you'll get is him saying he's a wizard, but he's producing a fireball, which is like a violent
Yeah,
act.
and he beat The Rock and Stone
It's called
Cold
the
in the
same
same
night,
night.
so
So like
he
he's
has
on a whole
leeway.
different
He got
yeah, he's
leeway.
on a whole different scale than those bums.
Yeah, so WWE, we're grateful for you guys producing great content for us to talk about. We hope that this continues to ascend and that this never stops. And I hope that you keep pushing a little stuff you can work on. But overall, I'll give AEW a strong B plus A minus, and Night of Champions was firm B plus, because just the event itself was magnitude. I feel like it had a lot of key moments, like the Roman stuff, like certain stuff that just saved it because it kind of was lackluster. Like I said, like the Bianca stuff was good for Asuka, but at the same time, Bianca could have like retained it, arguably. Like we're gonna be honest here.
Yeah, she
We know
should have retained it,
we
honestly.
know why everything. We're
Yeah.
just making sense of it all.
All right,
So
with all that being said, we appreciate everybody out there for tuning in. Make sure you guys hit that like, comment, and subscribe, man.
share the shit with the world, y'all.
And also turn on your post notifications so you know every time we drop a track. And go check out that new PCF shop at pcfshop.myshopify.com. Peace.